There's a new bar in town. Welcome to the Turnbuckle Arms, where the banter flows like wine and the topics are as fresh as an ice-cold pint. So pull up a chair, grab yourself a glass, and welcome your hosts, The Brood!
Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it is to you. We are Lexi and Griz from the Turnbuckle Arms podcast, and the Turnbuckle Arms is now open for a swift one. It's a Monday afternoon when we're recording this, and to be perfectly honest with you, we thought it's a much better way to spend the time than being in work. Anyway, so wherever you are, whatever you're doing, thank you for joining us. This is a swift half, we hope, fingers crossed. It's funny how the rest of the crew decided to put the two most talkative members of the Turnbuckle Arms together on a swift half episode, but there we go. Our theme, our topic this week is the one and only Mr. Jim Johnston. We'll go into him a little bit more in a minute. But before we do, I have to start by being real with everyone. We recorded on Saturday. For some reason, every single member that was with us on the podcast saw that we were recording, and for some reason, it's gone. We don't know where it's gone. We don't know what happened to it. Because I was the one that pressed record, I've been in contact, and apparently it's a very weird error that happened, so this will just have to sort of compensate for a lack of episode this month. We did record it. We had a lot of fun doing it. Griz was our host. Griz decided that he wanted to do some karaoke, which is why I chose the Jim Johnston theme. So before I get into anything else, I'm going to throw to Griz so Griz can say hi, because he's waited patiently, bless him. Thank you. So yeah, when you're ready, go ahead.
Yep, you're absolutely right. We recorded that episode. We had bits that we done. We had karaoke. Jason almost blew up the speakers of everyone's laptop.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
But as we said, he won the Singing His Heart Out award that night. So
yeah, we did.
Bless him for that. And yep, as we said, the whole thing just completely disappeared, and we have no idea where it's went. And it is kind of heartbreaking because we really all put something kind of special into that episode.
We did. And I will be absolutely honest with you, I rapped for it. And yeah, I don't know if I'll do that again. Just going to be honest.
Yeah.
But no,
I still had to pay Griz for his appearance, though. Yes,
Griz was amazing. I'm sure he might make a return at some point now.
He's getting kind of high in demand, so we'll need to see.
See, we might have to pre-book him, so stay with us on that one. So, going to today's theme, if you don't know who Jim Johnston is, Jim Johnston because I keep dropping that T in his name. Jim Johnston was with WWE/WWF from 1985. He left somewhat under the radar in 2017. He is the composer for the majority of themes that you will know. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. He's also done things for pay-per-views, TV shows, things like themes, vignettes, commercials, tribute episodes and stuff.
Movies.
He's also done movies as well. I was just about to go on to that. He's done two famous examples is The Chaperone, which I think has Triple H in it, and The Reunion, which I'm not too sure who's in that.
Chaperone's the one that has Alex from Modern Family in it.
Does it? Did not know that. You can tell I don't really watch it, but there we go.
No.
He's also appeared in various documentaries over the years as well. For me, the two that stick out is Beyond the Mat. There's a section in Beyond the Mat, and if you don't know what that is, I highly recommend that you track it down either on DVD or Blu-ray or via whatever means you can. And it basically is the story of him creating Vader's music. And what's really interesting is Vader's music is actually based on how he walks, which I think is amazing. He was also in The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. I have to put that one in for very obvious reasons. We all know why. He's out there. He was seen on various pay-per-views throughout his tenure. I think he was at WrestleMania, sort of the late 90s, appearing with the DX band, performing their theme. There's nothing that he can't play in terms of a musical instrument. He's just a very, very talented guy. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about really was...
also, just before, while we're talking about documentaries, confirmed Signature Sounds, the music of WWE, is on WWE Network.
It is a fantastic documentary. If you ever get the chance to see it, it's about an hour long. And it just looks at how he creates things, which is amazing.
Yeah, literally Fandango is in the thumbnail for it, and one of the parts in that documentary is just, this is kind of how Fandango's theme started, and he's just sitting next to a piano and just goes, dun, 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 dun. It's like, so that's how it starts, and then it kind of builds from there, so then you go, dun, 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 and then he's like adding more keys in as time goes on, and then it just slowly progresses into the Fandango theme that you know, and it's like, oh, there it is. I can hear it now.
Yeah, it's badass, no matter which way you look at it. So, overall, looking at his general career, is there any sort of highlights for you in terms of WWE and what he's achieved?
Well, what I find interesting is see stuff like these. There's these kind of weird CDs that just end up on Spotify these days. And one of the interesting things that I found from it was there was a version of Triple H's theme song, King of Kings, that was sang by Jim Johnston, like the demo version before. Before Motorhead covered it. So it's Jim Johnston singing it.
That's insane.
It's very different.
I can imagine. I can't imagine it being sung by anyone else but Lemmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did read as well all the information that I said before. I took off Wikipedia. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The academic part of me goes, no, you must not use Wikipedia. But actually, I'm like, oh, sack, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So
I use Wikipedia for my other podcasts.
So, see, I'm with the best now. It's interesting. A lot of my fond memories of wrestling is associated with him. And it was interesting going back to what you were saying about the King of Kings theme, was that it says in the Wikipedia article that, Jim Johnston was quite pro the use of Motorhead, along with other bands as well. And he played an active part in sort of elevating them. Not that I think that Motorhead needed elevating at the point that they were used by WWE, but, and there's a story in My Time, I think it is, Triple H's first theme by Motorhead, where Lemmy was pretty much not well at all. The belief was that he was dying, and Triple H is a massive fan of Motorhead, and literally he recorded that, Lemmy recorded that, and they thought it was going to be his last recording, and he sort of lived for another 15 years. So there we go.
I think Lemmy has been dying for, was dying for about the past 20 years he was alive.
Yeah, yeah, to be fair, may he rest in peace, bless him. But
Absolutely.
it was just nice that, he did that thing. And I'm not sure whether that's a Jim Johnston theme or not. I'm going to assume so.
Yeah, I feel like it must be. I feel like a lot of that stuff during the time was all like kind of composed by him, because like it was I think it wasn't my time. I think it was the first version of the game, but
Yeah,
it still had the kind of my time kind of weird backing track like
yeah,
sound that my time had, and then we're kind of like, this just doesn't suit me. Like, could we like maybe try and like see if we can get a band like kind of like kind of sound like Motorhead to do it? It's like, well, we can't get a band that sound like Motorhead, but we can get Motorhead if you want. And then Triple H was like, well, funny how that works.
yeah, yeah. I think that was really cool. And for me, if I was a wrestler, I'd certainly want my favourite band to go in. But for me, Jim Johnston was
Sadly,
able.
sadly, I would not be able to do that because then I'd just be copying Edge.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, it depends on the character that I would play. Um, because if I was evil, dark, and brooding, I know exactly what band I would use. And they happen to be on your hat. But there we go. It's Ghost.
Uh-huh.
So for me, one thing that I miss about Jim Johnston, and I don't know if it's the same with you, but Jim Johnston had this incredible knack of looking at a talent and going, okay, that this is unusual about this person. This is unusual. And picking that out and then building his foundations, if you like, for the house, which is the theme, on it. And it's something that I don't feel works now. It doesn't happen much. I mean, maybe it's just me. What do you think?
Well, the fact that you originally spoke about how Jim Johnson building that theme around Vader, around the way he walks, is a perfect example. Like, and more often than not, definitely a lot of these themes, like, they suit the wrestler that used them. Like, looking at the list of songs that I have in my like, cause I actually done a wee bit of like sitting and thinking and took notes. So like, for example, like one of them here is Gangrel. Like, so he looked at Gangrel, looked at the character and the wrestler, and it's like, okay, right, well, he's a kind of, vampire satany kind of thing. So he needs to have this dark, really creepy theme song, and then like obviously he would start going around and making Gangrel's theme, and then the finishing product the finished product, when you play that with Gangrel making his entrance, it's like, man, you hit the nail on the head. And
Yeah,
then you kind of jump forward to like, today, where it's just things like
the one the one that
it
the
just
modern
doesn't
one that
suit.
jumps out for me is Samoa Joe. When
Mhm.
Samoa Joe first came out on NXT, he had like this really weird, like upbeat,
Oh
jazzy.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was bassy, and we love a bit of bass in this household. But for me, I heard that, I looked at Matt, and I went, this just doesn't fit him. It's not
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. It's too nice. It's too upbeat.
Because
And
it,
then
it had the
like,
intro. It had the
yeah,
intro, and then it just kind of went boom, do, 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 do. And it's like,
yeah,
that's Samoa Joe for you. And
yeah,
then that first episode where he debuted the new theme song, the one he has now, it's like, there you go. That's
there
what
we
we were
go.
looking for.
That's Samoa Joe. I mean, it took a while for me to get used to AJ Styles' theme. And I don't know whether it was because I watched him through TNA, so I was more used to hearing him come out to a more rocky kind of sound. So it took a while, and was it CFOS who composed that? I
Think
don't know.
so. Think so.
So he has had some hit and misses, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody that's mentioned here. It's just, how can he go from the absolute sublime of Bobby Roode's,
Mhm.
of Shinsuke Nakamura, even, who else is it? I'm just trying to think now. on NXT, and I absolutely love it. Sasha Banks. Yeah.
Ah.
How can you go from them to the likes of messing up with Samoa Joe? And I don't know, the Undisputed Era to a degree. Don't get me wrong, I like it. It's grown on me, but when I first heard it, I thought
that was it.
It needs something better. Like, it's a fantastic backing track, but it needs something over the top.
Yeah, give us some lyrics.
Yeah, give me, it could be like their manifesto in song. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I didn't really have that with Jim Johnston.
Yeah. Well, a few little things from that is, first of all, apparently, so I've heard, I don't know how true this is, apparently AJ Styles' theme was actually meant to be given to James Storm.
Okay.
So when he was kind of cutting about NXT, that was meant to be given to him, and then obviously when he left, they were like, well, it's got the term redneck, and AJ Styles is kind of a redneck, except he's not, but we can just disregard that, it's fine.
We'll work with it, it's fine.
Yeah. And then also, apparently, Glorious was meant to be Nakamura's theme song.
Okay, because I've heard something different about that.
Oh.
I heard that Glorious was supposed to be Austin Aries' theme.
Ooh.
And Austin Aries heard it and went, no, that's not for me, that's for somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually saw Bobby Roode pre-Glorious at NXT Liverpool in 2016, I think. And he had this generic, pink, shimmery Titantron thing. And I was just like, it's got to be better than this, surely.
Oh,
and then, obviously, Glorious came and it was like, yes, indeed.
There you go.
And talking about Jim Johnston singing, for those of you who don't know, I think in the Signature Sounds documentary, I'm sure it's in the Signature Sounds documentary, it might not be, but there is footage somewhere of CFOS doing the lead vocals to Glorious, and he absolutely belts it out. So we might get our Lord, Big Johnny, I can still say it, Big Johnny, or Johnny Maur, as I like to say, to find it and put a clip in the links below so you can see what I'm on about. So the question with that then is, obviously WWE have been a bit hit and miss with themes since. Do you think that he's missed? Do you think that he could ever come back in a way? I mean, he was with the company 32 years, and for me, it just felt like it was abrupt. The cut was, the release was abrupt. It came out of nowhere. So is there a chance that he could return to WWE?
Well, when you asked that question, the first thing I thought was no. As much as what is he missed? Absolutely, by anyone that even cares slightly about wrestling theme songs. Yes, he is missed, and it's for a vast different kind of reasons. Like, well, for example, during Jim Johnston's sort of like run, we got all these like kick-ass albums of real life bands doing theme songs, and then not only were they doing theme songs, they were doing full songs. A full 5-minute track. The Miz's theme song is still a 5-minute track, whereas Finn Balor, his is essentially a 1.5-minute loop.
Yes.
So it's kind of things like that are definitely missed on the fans sort of side. But I feel as if this is that whole kind of thing with WWE of, they had somebody working for them for so long, and then it's like, yeah, but we can get somebody else that's much younger to come in and do the same job for cheaper. Like the way that they also got rid of like the timekeeper that had been with the company for X amount of years, and they're just like, yeah, but we can just get the ring announcer to do that, and then that means we don't need to pay you. Yeah. So it's kind of that thing of like, I feel like if you have too long of a career in WWE that isn't a wrestler, they'll eventually, get rid of you and find like the cool, younger, hipper person.
Sometimes the grass isn't always greener.
No.
I think for me, it would be nice if he came back and his role was gradually reduced. So if they announced, right, he's coming back over 3 years, he'll be full-time for the first year, then he'll be part-time for the next 2, with it gradually going to less and less and less, and he could go, look, this is the way, this is what we do, this is how we do it. I mean, you know, he looked at the Mankind character, for example. He just looked at drawings. He didn't see Mick Foley, and he created this theme. And then Mick Foley went to him and went, I want an outro. And he's the only wrestler to ever have a different introduction, an exit theme, which I thought was amazing. And it's something that I didn't pick up on as a child, you know. But as I've gotten older, obviously, you know, with that being said, then, he was spotted at AEW All In in September 2018. So with that in mind, do you think AEW, and I, you know, this is said without me knowing who's working for AEW, is it worth AEW approaching him and saying, listen, you know, you might be at a loose end. Come and work for us, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he still definitely has the talent, and again, that kind of harps back to like what we're saying of like Jim Johnston could play instruments. He can do all this with his actual physical hands. Whereas I think that the people that WWE hire these days, they do it all on their laptop, and it's like, oh well, I need a drum fill. Okay, there you go. There's your drum fill. Now we're going to add some guitar on that. There you go, theme song.
Yeah. It would be interesting. I'd like to see it, to be honest with you. I'd like to see what he could do for the likes of Omega and the Young Bucks, really.
I mean, Omega's got a good theme song, but I don't think the Young Bucks' theme song's that great.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not dissing anybody in AEW's theme.
No, I know. Yeah.
It would just be interesting to see. I mean, you know, Jim Johnston gave us absolute pearls like Tyler Breeze's theme. You know,
and Fandango.
So, you know, Breezango, although they did miss out on a trick calling it for Breeze, but I get why they didn't call it that. But yeah, he gave us absolute gems like that. So for me, yeah, I just had a quick thought. I want to know who wrote most of the NXT UK themes, because they seem to be channeling that Jim Johnston vibe of the one I'll use is Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's theme is essentially Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, but not. And we know that he uses that on the indies. There's footage of him drumming along to it at a show, at an indie show. So for me, whoever's done that has clearly done their research and gone from there, kind of thing. But there we go. So next question then. Does he deserve a Hall of Fame spot in WWE?
1000% he does. I mean, there's people that have been put in the Hall of Fame before him that I don't even understand why they're in the Hall of Fame to begin with. But with someone that the career that he has and the things that he's done for people, like just off the top of your head, like, you know, glass shatters, like Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme. Could you imagine if that wasn't his theme song? Would he be anywhere near the star he was? Because anytime you heard that glass shatter, the roof blew off any arena that Austin stepped into. And
it still does. Like, you know, for me, The Undertaker.
Yeah.
That gong has always followed him throughout his career. Look at the likes of, now I'm not sure if he wrote it or he co-wrote it, I could be wrong, but Hulk Hogan's theme. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, I've heard that Real American was actually either written by or co-written with Jimmy Hart. So that might be the anomaly in this. But you look at the talent that he's worked with over the years. I mean, we go back to 1985 to 2017.
Mhm.
You know, the likes of Mr. Perfect, the late great Road Warriors, the Rockers. I mean, you know, the Ultimate Warrior. You know, there's so many, and he just seems to have been working so hard. And I don't know whether it's, you know, his pure natural talent, and I'm not taking away from him there, of just being able to get someone and go with it, or whether he genuinely did just step outside the box and go, okay, what can I do to make this unique? Various of his themes have been rehashed over the years. On Saturday, you mentioned Randy Orton's theme, Voices.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's actually a slowed down version of Nitro Mercury's theme?
Huh.
So if you take Eminem's theme,
Yeah.
slow it down,
Mm-hmm.
it's Voices by Randy Orton.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't had it confirmed, but as soon as I heard it, I went, that's Mercury and Nitro's theme. And I was like, that's fucking lazy. But there we go. And also, like, there's one about Kurt Angle's theme as well. Somebody used it before Kurt Angle.
Patriot.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, you see. Right.
Also, I'm pretty sure that Hulk Hogan's theme song was used by a tag team before it was given to Hulk Hogan.
Possibly, yeah. Although...
I want to say like American Males or something like that, maybe. But that's just that's just off the top of my head. Maybe it wasn't them as a tag team then. But there's like some American tag team, and then they were like, yeah, but Hulk Hogan, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. We might have to do that. If anyone knows, obviously, and if we say anything wrong, just sort of let us know. We're, you know, just sort of going through here, just sort of chatting and stuff. So,
don't at us and be like, well, actually.
No, you can be. There's just nice ways of going about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, don't be an asshat about it.
Yeah. Especially because you'll make Griz cry, and we don't like that. Or we'll make Taco and Belle cry. And for those of you that don't know, they're Griz's lovely, lovely kittens. Oh, look at him! Oh, he's completely sleeping. Have we bored you, Taco lad?
Well, he's been running about all over my lap most of the day, like just looking for pets. So I'm kind of glad that he has settled down during this
nice. Thanks for that, lad. I'll send some cat treats for you. Okay, so when we were talking about this the other day, I thought, or I suggested, a top 3 and a worst 3. So I'm going to go with the worst first, because so your top 3 worst themes by Jim Johnston.
Well, I definitely have more than 3, but here we go.
Go on.
So what I tried to do was I tried to at least get one from every kind of era. So for my kind of older theme, I have Enough Is Enough, the Owen Hart theme song.
Yeah.
Because that went from his awesome King of Hearts theme that he had during the time that he was feuding with Bret Hart, and then it went to this weird, crappy, metal clanging sounding theme song with like the kind of shitty sounding guitar. And
him screaming, enough is enough and it's time for a change.
Like, that was the only good bit about it, because like
to be fair,
it associated them with it, but then it's just like, if you took that bit out and it was just like clang, clang, now, clang, clang, you could just give that to anybody. You can give that to like Mark Henry and it would work, because then you could just be like, oh, that's the metal clang and that's him doing lifting weights or and it's just because like, and then like I even took a note of this, it's like it goes from that amazing theme and it's a step down like in terms of theme quality, but then it also kind of reflects like Owen Hart's career at that point, because that was kind of the time where he went from feuding with Bret Hart for the WWF title to then kind of just becoming no name mid-card guy teaming with Yokozuna and not doing as much exciting stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like, this stuff was still fun from what I've seen, because it's not exactly my time. But it was a definite step down, and it kind of all showed together at once.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what? I didn't even consider that. So thank you for adding that into my honourable mentions. Go on, next one.
Okay, so the next one I have is End of Days, Wade Barrett's first version of the theme song. He only used it for about a week on television, and it was very, very unpolished. And then this was the theme song that started to become the chorus theme. So, like, every 2 weeks, you get the new remix version, and it eventually became super awesome, and then they continued to keep changing it. So
now, you see, I'm a little bit torn on that one, because I think that it was supposed to be inspired by the Manic Street Preachers, which is a band that I absolutely love. And if you listen to their very early stuff, it was very raw, unclean. It really, really was, you know, it wasn't crisp. It was, this is what we've made and this is it kind of thing. It's no secret that Barrett is, or Stu Bennett, whatever you want to call him, is a fan of the Manics, and that's shown by the tattoo on his arm. Not only is it in the style of Richie Edwards, which is was the second guitarist in the Manic Street Preachers, unfortunately no longer with us apparently, so rest in peace, sir. But he has going around that tattoo, culture, alienation, boredom and despair, which is actually lyrics from a song by them called Little Baby Nothing, which, for those of you of a younger age, do us a favour, cover your ears for a minute. I'll give you a thumbs up when it's okay. That song actually has Tracy Lords, the porn star, in it, providing the female vocals. TRACI.
Okay.
It was actually supposed to be Kylie Minogue. Fun fact. But they didn't, they didn't do it because of scheduling conflicts. And it's very, very interesting as well. I'm not sure if she's actually in the video for it, for Little Baby Nothing, but it's funny how it's only James, the lead singer, not Nicky Wire or Sean Moore, in that video. Think of that what you will. Are you looking it up now?
No, just saving it for later.
I thought so.
Research.
So, but yeah, that's the reason why it sounded the way that it did, because I'm pretty sure it pays homage to the Manic Street Preachers, and they are, I love them to pieces, but they're not the greatest. So yeah, you've gone very quiet, Griz.
Oh, testing.
Very, very quiet.
You hear us?
Try again. I've turned you up on my laptop, but...
Can you hear me now? I'm just going to try and talk at a rough level that I had been. I was muttering a wee minute ago.
Oh, yeah, that's fine then. That's fine. I was worried. So, John, you can cut this. Thanks. Appreciate it. Much love. Right then. So, anything to add about that theme by Wade Barrett, or?
It was just kind of like more so it was to kind of talk about the evolution of it, like, because it was kind of the only other kind of theme song that, well, there was the Samoa Joe one that you kind of mentioned earlier and how that evolved, and the only other one I can remember recently was, remember Jason Jordan's theme song when that started, and then that started to evolve on TV, but the first couple of weeks it was just a couple of farty trumpets.
Yeah. I don't, now that you've brought that up, I still don't think I'm over the breakup of American Alpha. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah. Okay. Interesting. Although, is that technically a Jim Johnston theme, or is it a CFOS?
I think that's a CFO dollar sign one, but it was just, it's kind of like the sort of way of putting the two of them side by side kind of thing.
Get you. And also as well, just on Wade Barrett's theme, I was so annoyed when he left, because the Manic Street Preachers said in an interview, if WWE want us, we will record for them. And I was like, shut up, take the money, it doesn't matter about their communist beliefs, take the fucking money, go lads. But we haven't had it yet. However, now that he's back in NXT, please get it to happen.
Every commentator has a theme song, so even if Wade Barrett never wrestles again, he could get like a Manic Street Preachers theme song.
I would just be really interested to see how Nikki Wire would react, to be perfectly honest with you, because Nikki Wire is very famous for dressing in women's clothing and stuff, and I've seen him on stage, and every performance I've seen of him live, he's come out after a while wearing a skirt. So it'd be very interesting to see how WWE would react to that. And I can just imagine him at WrestleMania. That'd be boss. Anyway. So did you say that Jason Jordan was your top one, or?
No, it was just as an example of kind of like theme songs that you hear on television for weeks, and then they start to build up to their final. They did evolve into their final form.
Yeah. Go on.
But the next two I have, I'm just gonna go side by side.
Go on.
Tropic Storm and Cher, Tamina and Jinder Mahal's theme songs, because Tamina has never had a good theme song like throughout her entire career, and you know, bad theme songs for bad wrestlers. And Jinder Mahal as well, like his current one that he has is probably the best one he's had, but that one fills me with dread because it means we have to watch Jinder Mahal. But the one he had in his original run was just really, really bad. And again, I think it doesn't help that I just really loathe these two wrestlers. But I mean, well, just for a very quick example, like sometimes when you hear a theme song, you end up start liking people that you don't necessarily like. Like, for example, like I fucking loved Mojo Rawley just because his theme song was so cool when he came out. It's just like, yeah, but he sucks. But like, look at him running to the ring. Look at him doing all that shit with this awesome, like, heavy, you know, aggressive theme song.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if I think Randy Orton. Randy Orton's the same for me. And is it Burning My Light by Mercy Drive?
Uh-huh.
Loved that song and grew to like Randy Orton because of it. Now not so much a fan with his slowed down Nitro and Mercury even theme. But there we go. That's just me.
Yeah.
Right.
I do have one more.
Go on.
Right. Welcome to the Queendom, Stephanie McMahon's theme song.
Is that the current one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fan of it for every kind of everything else I pretty much said about Jinder Mahal and Tamina, but then it also means like, oh no, that means we need to listen to Stephanie McMahon talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And it's just not a good theme song.
No, it's not. And that's with no disrespect to her, but yeah, I mean, you look at the one that Shane uses that is a Jim Johnston thing, and that is quality. I love that. It's one of my ringtones. But yeah, because I'm really sad like that.
No, you're not.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that I just don't like. But anyway, right then. So I've got two honourable mentions for my worst. The first one is Rob Conway. Just Look at Me.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know what it is. It just made him even sleazier.
Perfect for what it was going for.
Yeah, but not in a great way. And then Gillian Hall's sliced bread.
I know you want me.
Yeah. Although every time I hear that, it puts in my head Justin Timberlake's "Sexy Back."
Yeah, because she sang that on Raw during that time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. However, I don't have the actual lyrics from it. I have Weeble and Bob's parody called "Pastry Back" in my head. If you haven't seen it, I will get Big Johnny to put a link in the description because it's hilarious. I think anyway. It's my teenage years summed up kind of thing. So there we go. So my top 3 in absolutely no particular order because I couldn't rank them is the Right to Censor theme.
See, I was going to put that one in, but I thought that was a bit of a cop-out, so...
It is and it isn't. When they first started, it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Once you'd hit like the 3rd or 4th week of hearing that, and they went on that dominating run, and
they started adding more members, so which means you heard it more every episode of Raw
and SmackDown,
and then probably Heat as well.
Yeah, it just got to a point where I was like, okay, I get what they're about now. Stop, give them something else. And yeah, there's something in it as well. There's a alarm in it that is the right frequency to actually make my brain start vibrating, and I can't be dealing with that. I'm sorry, no. There are better ways to get heat, people. So the next one is I Love You for Brother Love.
Oh no.
Now, the reason why is as a child, and I'm talking like a little child, I'm talking like 3, maybe 4, I couldn't understand why the man had a red face. I couldn't. And as an adult, I still don't understand it. I know it's face paint, but yeah. And I just didn't like him. Just did not like him. Sorry to Bruce Pritchard, but I just didn't like you. Sorry. It's nothing personal. I just would much rather see another match than the segment that you did. And then this one brings back painful memories, to be fair. It's a song called Tell Me a Lie, and it's used for the vignette to pay tribute to Shawn Michaels when he lost his smile.
Okay.
And I was heartbroken because I loved Shawn Michaels as a kid. I still love Shawn Michaels now, to be fair. And it was really sad. And the way that it was done, I believe that was it. The world was over. He's never coming back. I was probably about 6, possibly 7 at the oldest. So, of course, what I saw portrayed...
Still real to you, damn it.
It was still real to me, damn it. Even before I knew what still real to me was, damn it. So yeah, that just hurts me in the feels unnecessarily. I don't like it. And you know, for those of you that aren't aware, again, we'll put a link down in the description for you. But yeah, it's basically a song that talks about how, you know, they've grown up and, you know, tell us a lie and say you won't go, and, you know, I realise you have to walk away, no more yesterdays kind of thing. So yeah, I would cry, but I've got expensive makeup on, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I love you, Sean, but is it enough to ruin my makeup? No, sorry.
I don't think there's many things that are there for a woman to be willing to ruin her makeup. So,
I don't know. But anyway, right.
But
so
now is just not one of them.
Yes, now is not one of them. Moving on to the happier times. What's your top 3?
Okay, right. Well, I have at least 4 honorable mentions, and then when I say 3, I have about another 3 for every era after this. So honorable mentions, I'll do the quick fire through. So Gangrel's theme, which was one we mentioned earlier, and so I kind of already said why, but also that one came to mind because I had a dream last night. I was walking to work, and I just really wanted to listen to Gangrel's theme song, so I pulled out my phone and started to get it set up on Spotify, and then my phone fell apart.
That's a sign, surely.
I just literally got a new phone like 2 days ago, so it better not be a sign.
Better not be.
Stay together, phone.
Stay together. You can do this.
Then we get Never Thought My Life Could Be This Good, Kerwin White's theme song.
Oh.
The Frank Sinatra one.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that one.
What an absolute jam.
For those of you who don't know, Kerwin White is better known as Chavo Guerrero. It's the reason why during all the tributes to Eddie Guerrero, he has this weird bleach blonde haircut. It's not the greatest of times. As I remember, Chavo was on Raw, Eddie was on SmackDown. They'd been separated due to the draft. Eddie was getting a massive singles push, and Chavo was not. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you ever look at the footage, that's the time we're sort of talking about. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm with you on that one, but carry on.
Well, it got brought back as Michael Cole's theme song, but it will always be Kerwin White's to me.
Get you.
It was a gem of a theme. Like, obviously, say what you will about the time and the gimmick and all that, but gem of a theme. Victory Is Mine, Santino Marella's theme song.
Yes, I like that one. That's a good choice.
And last honourable mention I have is This Fire Burns, CM Punk's theme song.
Nice. Although used for Randy Orton.
It was, yes. For 1 week. And it was very bizarre.
Yeah, because when he came out, I was like, that doesn't suit Randy Orton.
I was just like, oh my god, that's Killswitch Engage. That's my favourite band. And Randy Orton is coming out to them. And then,
nice.
And then the next week he came back out to Burn 'Em LA. I'm like, but no, Killswitch.
But I think they made the right choice going to CM Punk with that. Makes sense. Makes more sense. But anyway.
So that's honourable mentions out the way. We'll quickly get into my main picks. So I literally have put then Attitude Era, and then current. So then being the 80s, because I wasn't obviously a big 80s fan, like, because I wasn't born in the 80s for a start. So that normally helps. Yeah. I am not as well versed, but $1 Million Man has to be up there as one of the greatest 80s themes ever. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with you. So many memories attached to that. Then
just another talk about getting the perfect sounding theme song to go with a gimmick.
Yeah. And the fact that it's actually the $1 Million Man as well. Singing it is just amazing. It would be interesting to hear what he thinks of it now, given that he's sort of, is he a born again Christian or
something like that? Yeah, he's like a minister or something.
Yeah, and I think that his son Ted DiBiase Jr. followed suit. But it would be interesting to see what he thought about that theme now, given everything that we know.
Yeah, so. Given his now life choices.
Yeah.
Life-changing choices. So we'll move on to the Attitude Era. Like, I mean, literally I could name about 100 from, Attitude Era onwards, but so I really had to, tie my own hands here. So first of all, we have Here Comes the Money by Shane McMahon.
Yes, mate. Slam it down.
Absolutely. Banging It, Scotty Too Hotty.
All right.
And then probably this was the first one I wrote down, so I'm saving the best for last. Stone Cold Steve Austin's Alliance theme song.
What one? Oh, was that the Disturbed one?
No, that was before that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a lot faster paced, and like it was just like it would go glass showers.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because like that was when it was the big WCW heel, and then like he would come out with that extra like additional like speed and swagger. So like the sped up theme song just made him look even more like because he always had the swagger of, right, I'm going to hear and I'm going to whoop some ass and drink some beer, but now it's like, I'm going to whip double the amount of ass, I'm going to drink double the amount of beer, then I'm going to whip your ass again when I'm drunk.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep going until I fall over, which isn't going to happen for a while.
And then if I do fall over, I'll probably fall on top of you, which will hurt.
Exactly. I like it. All good choices, really. Nice one. Go on.
Well, got two left. One of them, again, was one I mentioned, which was King of Kings, so don't need to get into that one. The last one, and this may be controversial.
Oh, God, here we go.
But Baron Corbin's current theme song, without the King bit in it. Because
Go on.
that was the last ever Jim Johnston theme that he worked on before he left.
No way. I did not know that.
Yeah, that was the last one he had. And it was like it was almost like he was getting dragged out the door as he was finishing that.
Yeah.
And then because Corbin used it on television, and then that was when it was just lyricless, so it was just the theme music with the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then like the lyrics got added in. The lead singer of Bad Wolves is the man behind the voice.
Yeah.
And that was the last theme song that Jim Johnston worked on before he left WWE. So it's always kind of sentimental in a way.
Crazy. Okay, so I have no pressure now. I was looking at what I'd put, and I was thinking I haven't really represented the decades quite well, but there's a reason why they are the way, or they are my picks, if that makes sense. Honourable mention goes to Stone Cold's I Won't Do What You Tell Me theme.
Yep.
Just because it brings back the memories of, I think it's the Royal Rumble, where the glass on the door, and it's got Austin 316 that shatters, and he then walks through. I think that's an iconic moment and absolutely love it. And as we said earlier,
Madison Square Garden staple.
Yeah.
Every time it was in Madison Square Garden, they set that up for him.
Yeah. And I'm not being funny, but every time I think about it, I can't think of a better theme for somebody. My top three in no particular order. I'm gonna have Viva La Raza.
Oh hell yeah.
Eddie Guerrero. I don't need to say too much about this. What an absolute legend. It was used, although slightly different, when Los Guerreros was a thing. So you had Chavo in there as well.
We steal.
Yeah. And just so many fond memories attached to it. And I don't associate Eddie Guerrero's last theme with him. I don't think he used it for that long. I think he used Viva La Raza for longer. Yeah,
because there was versions of that, like when he turned heel, there was the slowed down, I lie, I cheat, I steal. Like it was still really good, but then it changed again. Like it was like Gangster Lane was like the last one.
Yeah,
so
like it started with a mobile phone ringing.
Yeah.
Ringing, yeah. But you know, anytime you heard that music, irrespective of whether it was Eddie as a single competitor or Eddie as a tag team competitor, you knew you were going to get a fantastic experience in terms of... You were
going to get a lowrider coming out and lots of shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering what colour it would be and whether he would make it bounce or whether, you know, it wouldn't or whatever.
Or how's he going to cheat in his matches?
Yes, and how is he going to make it hilarious? My second one is Drew McIntyre's theme, Broken Dreams.
I had a lot. Love thinking about whether or not I put that on.
Is actually sang by, I think it's a band called Shaman's Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Now I picked it for two reasons. One, I really liked the theme anyway, and felt that it suited him. And secondly, it reminds me of when I first got with my partner, because at the time he had Raw vs SmackDown 2009, and it constantly came on as we were playing through it. So it reminds me of that first summer when we were together. And then a little bringing it back, because I've got a reputation to keep as some sort of cold-hearted person here. Something like 2 or 3 days before Drew McIntyre won the NXT title, he tweeted out, I think it was to Bobby Roode, he actually tweeted out the first lyrics from that. So you're out of time, so say goodbye, what is yours now is mine. And I thought that was a nice little thing to bring it full circle, and a lot of people were like,
bring it back.
Yes, please, because that'd be ace. And number one, how can it not be? It is Shawn Michaels' Sexy Boy, without a shadow of doubt. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that's the greatest theme of all time. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to label it as that. But there's two versions of it. There's a version that has Sherry Martel singing.
That's not my version.
No. But there is one that features Sensational Sherry singing. She sings the Shawn bit at the beginning. And then there's the OG, the Bay, the one that just has everything. And yeah, I will happily pop anytime I hear that. So much so, it is on one of the songs on a drive-in CD that I made, because sometimes you just need to get in the car and put it on and just sing your little heart out to it, really.
Of course.
And also, like, don't get me wrong, it's iconic on its own, but it gave us that absolute beauty of a moment where Kurt Angle sang it as well, and about how he's a sexy.
What's Sherry, no less?
Yes, and he'll make your ankle hurt. And we need that. We need that in our lives. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's cheesy, it's narcissistic, it's, let's be honest with you, the lyrical content isn't the greatest, but that's not what it's about. It's about identifying it with someone. And when Shawn Michaels came back, I would have been very, very disappointed if he had changed to something else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The fact that that song lasted, well, it's still used today. Like, that theme song is nearly 30 years old at this point.
Yeah, Jim should get into the Hall of Fame just on that song alone.
Yeah.
Just on the merit of that song.
Never mind all the other songs that we've mentioned.
No, never mind. So yeah, there you go. There's I'm sure, and we said this the other day, I'm sure that if we were to do this as a main topic for everyone, I'm sure that we could have the exact same topic and come up with different things. I mean, it was so difficult. I didn't do what Griz did, which was, going proper. I literally just sat and went, right, the first 3 ones that I like, they're going down. And the first 3 ones that I don't like are going down. And I've noticed they're sort of like the early 90s, with a little bit of the Attitude Era mixed in. I think the newest one is actually Drew McIntyre's theme.
Mm-hmm. And even then, that's still about nearly 15 years ago.
Yeah, which is quite scary. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. So, to round it off, and to kind of, because I'm just aware of time, because this has turned into like a swift and a half one.
Yeah, this is where you go to the pub for a couple of drinks, and then you come back home at 1 a.m. just saying it gets kind of hand.
Yeah, and also we're making up for the fact that our episode from Saturday has been lost to the internet cloud gods. May it rest in peace. So, just to address it, we spoke on Saturday about the sad news of Animal from Legion of Doom passing away. Really just sort of raising a toast to him, sharing some memories with him or of him. Griz has done one, but obviously, you know, they're reunited. Another Animal before. Very, very untimely passing. So, thoughts, most favourite Legion of Doom moment, if any?
Well, yeah, just was getting an actual drink so that we can do a proper clink.
There we go. Clink.
There we go.
To you. May you rest peacefully now. So yeah, favourite.
May you be up in the sky having awesome wrestling matches with everyone else in wrestler heaven.
Could you imagine the card that you could book with that though?
Now, what I'm thinking is Dead Wrestler Royal Rumble.
Yes, mate. Yes.
Eddie Guerrero, Mr. Perfect, Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, Hawk and Animal, just to name a few.
Do you know what? That's going to be one we need to cover on a proper episode, I think.
What? Like we should book.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Like our own show using those wrestlers, and then see the weird, wonderful combinations that we get out of that.
Yeah. We will discuss more of this when we stop recording.
Yes, off mic.
Because I have questions.
Okay.
I have questions. So anyway, for me, I'm just going to jump in and just give my favourite memory of the Legion of Doom. I don't really remember their matches. You know, people will go, but this is a wrestling podcast. How dare you not know their matches? But at the end of the day, their look was so iconic. And to be absolutely honest with you, I'd never seen anything like that before. And, you know, it hooked me in, being the very small child that I was. I think I saw them live. I don't know.
Retell that story quickly.
Very, very quickly. When I was probably 4, my dad took us out for a night out, and it turned out to be to a wrestling show. And Legion of Doom was there. And I remember standing on a chair, trying to see them, and being able to see them, being so excited. And then my eldest brother turned to my dad and was like, "I can't believe that's the real Hawk and Animal." And my dad turned to him and went, "You know they're not the real ones, don't you?"
Yeah.
And to this day, we still don't know, because we didn't get like any of the flyers and stuff. I don't know where the tickets have gone or nothing. I know somewhere in the world there exists of like tiny pictures, and they're like about that big. They're tiny in the picture, so I can't even look back at them. But in my heart, I want to say that I saw them. So, yeah. So over to you. I'll throw it over to you.
Well, being that I was obviously I wasn't really around during the main time that they were about, so as much as I always loved as you say the gear, the face paint, and all that, I haven't seen that many matches. Like some of the things that I've seen are just the weird shit. As we were kind of talking about on Saturday, was one of the things I remember was their appearance on this this DVD set. In fact, I looked at it, it's all on YouTube actually, called XWF.
Yes.
And then they were wrestling. They were in a feud with the Nasty Boys, which was kind of a rehash of their one that they had in the sort of 80s. And they were wrestling a Gemini, if you ever remember that very short-lived tag team that hung about with Simon Dean.
Yeah.
And then just like them appearing on like TNA shows, like in the really early days and all that kind of stuff. And the one match that I can genuinely remember is Legion of Doom versus Kane and Rob Van Dam on Raw in like 2003 for just a one-off. And it was just like, oh man, these guys were like from the olden times and now they're back. And then they only had the one match and then disappeared again. But like,
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether a more modern audience like would understand fully their aura and their presence that they had. Certainly back in a pre-internet time. Some might remember because it's been discussed about, and it's also quite recent in terms of Dark Side of the Ring, the storyline where they tried to introduce Droz into into the Legion of Doom, and they played up on Hawk's real life substance abuse problem, and that's not the way that they should be remembered. They should be remembered as, you know, I mean, that reception they got at SummerSlam 92 at Wembley, you know, just thinking about it now is, you know, it gives goosebumps, it gives the chills, you know, so, and also...
that match.
What was that?
Not to ruin the moment, but, like, do you know the backstory behind that match?
Which bit? Which backstory?
Originally, they were meant to be in the semi-main event, wrestling for the tag titles, but Hawk showed up so out of it that they got moved to the first match of the show against, I think it was like Inc. or something. And
no way.
Granted, the fact that like, and then they came out on their motorcycles, and then they still won. So
yeah. I mean, I knew that Hawk had turned up intoxicated, and there's also rumours that David Boy Smith was intoxicated too. At WrestleMania 92, but not WrestleMania 92, SummerSlam 92. But we'll talk about that in depth another time. But yeah, I think that's sort of a testament to them as well, because that level of intoxication, and they still went out and they still did what they were supposed to do. So yeah, so you finished your drink, so I'll do this one for you. We will raise our glass again. Do you want to talk about the weird wrestling family that you did?
The fact that there was one point where John Cena was going out with Nikki Bella, Daniel Bryan was going out with Brie Bella, and then the Bella's mum, who is married to John Laurinaitis, Big Johnny himself, the real Big Johnny.
No, the real Big Johnny is our Big Johnny. Go on.
So there was a period of time where that family had John Cena, John Laurinaitis, Road Warrior Animal, Daniel Bryan, and the Bella Twins, all in the same family.
Yeah, just for clarity, John Laurinaitis is actually Animal's brother in real life. I can't remember Animal's real name, which is really bad. What was it? No, you've gone quiet.
God damn. Joe Laurinaitis.
There we go. Got you. Joe Laurinaitis is obviously related to John Laurinaitis, so yeah. I think that blew my mind a little bit when I found out. But anyway.
Two completely different styles of wrestler, and they're both in the same business, but they're like not only are they not teaming together, but
yeah, I mean,
it's very weird to look at.
Yeah. It's interesting how they have gone their separate ways and never really combined on or whatever. So we could talk about that another time as well. So anyway, on that note, we're going to leave it there because this has sort of ended up as a swift 2.5, not 1.5. So I'm just going to end there. I'm just going to say thank you to Griz for taking time out of his day off to come on and chat with us. Thank you to Taco for for being as amazing and showing up at the end like our little mascot should do, and for sleeping through most of it and not disturbing your dad. Thank you.
That's why I snatched them.
I get you. Thank you to our members of the Brood who couldn't be with us today because they unfortunately had to work. Bless them. Soz about that. And
members that did show up on Saturday for the last episode.
Yeah. Thank you as well. Thank you to Big Johnny for not only giving us the platform to do this, also for being so understanding about what happened with our lost episode. Thank you to everyone that we normally thank at the end, for our theme music, for everything that we do. You can follow us on all forms of social media. We've got big things coming up in the future. Just look for the Turnbuckle Arms. If you've got any questions, if you've got any suggestions, please feel free to send them in to the turnbucklearms@gmail.com. And as always, keep liking, keep sharing, subscribe, and we will catch you soon when the bar opens again. From Griz and Lexi, thank you so much, and we will speak to you soon. Stay safe. Bye.